Across the United States, some places hold dark secrets, legends, and tales of the unexplained. These locations aren't just abandoned, they're haunted by stories of tragedy, loss, and mysterious occurrences. We're talking about places where the veil between our world and the other side feels thin, paper thin. Places where the energy is so heavy, so palpable, it can send chills down your spine. Tonight, we journey into the shadows to explore the creepiest places in the USA. Our first stop takes us to the legendary Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. Nestled high in the Rocky Mountains, this grand hotel has a sinister side, a darkness that has seeped into its very foundation. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, the hotel was meant to be a luxurious retreat for the wealthy. However, over the years, it has gained a reputation for being one of the most haunted places in America. You see, the Stanley is no stranger to the paranormal. Its eerie reputation has been cemented by numerous ghost sightings and unexplained phenomena. It's been featured in countless paranormal investigations, and for good reason. Paranormal experts and ghost hunters have flocked to the hotel, hoping to capture evidence of the supernatural. Guests report hearing children laughing in empty hallways, a sound that sends chills down the spine, the pitter-patter of little feet when no one's around. These ghostly children are said to be the spirits of past guests who never truly left. Objects move on their own, as if manipulated by unseen hands. Furniture shifts, doors open and close, and lights flicker without any apparent cause. And then there are the sightings. Shadowy figures lurking in the corners of your vision, always just out of reach. A glimpse of an old man dressed in period attire, vanishing as quickly as he appears. Some believe this to be the spirit of Freeland Oscar Stanley himself, still overseeing his grand creation. Staff will tell you that room 217 is particularly active. This room has a history of strange occurrences, from unexplained noises to sudden drops in temperature.
It's the same room where Stephen King himself once stayed, an experience that left a lasting impression on the famed author. The room that inspired his chilling novel, The Shining. King's stay at the Stanley Hotel was so unsettling that it sparked the idea for one of the most terrifying stories ever written. They say King experienced the hotel's unsettling energy firsthand, feeling an overwhelming sense of dread and unease. A terrifying encounter that birthed one of the most iconic horror novels of all time. The Stanley Hotel continues to draw visitors not just for its beauty and history, but for the chance to experience its haunted legacy. Today, the hotel offers ghost tours, allowing brave souls to explore its haunted halls and hear the chilling tales that have made it famous. Guides share stories of past guests and staff who have encountered the unexplained, adding to the hotel's mystique. As night falls, the Stanley Hotel takes on an even more eerie atmosphere, its grand facade hiding the secrets within. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, there's no denying the sense of unease that permeates the Stanley Hotel, a legacy that continues to captivate and terrify.
In San Jose, California, stands a mansion unlike any other, the Winchester Mystery House. This sprawling estate, a maze of twisting corridors and architectural oddities, was once home to Sarah Winchester, heiress to the Winchester rifle fortune. Now, I've investigated a lot of places, but there's an oppressive weight to the air within those walls.
I was a woman haunted, tormented by guilt and fear. I believed that the spirits of those killed by my family's firearms were seeking revenge, and I was desperate to appease them. Driven by this unshakable belief, I embarked on a relentless construction project, a 24/7 endeavor that spanned decades. The result? A 160-room mansion with staircases that lead to nowhere, doors that open to brick walls, and windows overlooking other rooms. It's as if I was trying to confuse the spirits, trap them within the labyrinthine walls of my home.
Chapter 3. Eastern State Penitentiary, Whispers from Solitary. Our journey into the heart of darkness takes us to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to one of the most notorious prisons in American history, Eastern State Penitentiary. This prison, with its Gothic architecture and looming presence, has a history steeped in pain and suffering.
This place, man, it gets under your skin. You can feel the weight of the past pressing down on you, almost like the walls themselves are whispering their dark secrets.
It was designed to break the human spirit, to crush any hope of redemption, to punish through isolation and silence. The cells were small, cold, and devoid of any comfort. Inmates lived in solitary confinement, cut off from any human contact. Their only contact with the outside world, a small skylight that some believed was their only connection to God. This tiny window, known as the Eye of God, was a cruel reminder of the world they were missing. The weight of their suffering, their despair, it permeates the very air. It lingers in these cells, in the cracks of the walls, in the cold, hard floors, in the echoing silence of the cell blocks. The silence here is not just an absence of sound, but a presence in itself, heavy and oppressive.
Visitors have reported hearing anguished screams, cries that seem to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, the clanging of cell doors, as if the spirits of the past are still trapped within these walls, even though the prison has been abandoned for decades. The decay and neglect only add to the eerie atmosphere. They talk about shadowy figures darting down the corridors, fleeting glimpses of something not quite human, cold spots that send shivers down your spine as if the very air is haunted, and an overwhelming feeling of being watched. It's as if the eyes of the past are always on you, never letting you forget where you are.
Cell block 12, they say, is where the activity is most intense. This is the heart of the haunting, where the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. It's a place where the veil between our world and the next feels dangerously thin. Here, the past and present collide, creating a space where time seems to stand still and the whispers of the past are almost deafening. Chapter 4. The Myrtles Plantation, where tragedy lingers. Deep in the heart of Louisiana, shrouded in Spanish moss and secrets, lies the Myrtles Plantation. This stunning antebellum mansion, with its sprawling grounds and elegant facade, hides a dark and tragic past. It's a past that refuses to stay buried.
The Myrtles Plantation is said to be home to at least 12 different spirits, each with their own story to tell, their own pain to share. There's Chloe, a former slave who is said to have poisoned the mistress of the house. She's often seen wearing a green turban, her eyes filled with a haunting sadness.
Visitors report seeing phantom children playing on the veranda, their laughter echoing through the stillness, only to vanish into thin air. Footsteps creak on the wooden floors when no one's around, and disembodied voices whisper through the halls. Chapter 5. Villisca Axe Murder House, the echoes of a gruesome crime. Our final destination takes us to the heartland of America, to the seemingly peaceful town of Villisca, Iowa. Nestled in the rolling plains, this town appears to be a picture of tranquility, a place where time moves a little slower and everyone knows their neighbor. It's here, on a quiet street, that you'll find a house frozen in time, a house that holds the dark secret of a brutal and unsolved crime. The Villisca Axe Murder House stands as a grim reminder of a night that changed this town forever.
From the outside, the Villisca Axe Murder House looks like any other house on the block. Its white paint is chipped and the yard is overgrown, but it blends in with the other homes in this sleepy neighborhood. But behind those walls, a horrifying event unfolded. The air inside feels thick, almost as if the house itself is holding its breath, waiting for someone to uncover its secrets.
In 1912, an entire family was brutally murdered in their sleep, their killer never brought to justice. The Moore family, along with 2 young guests, were found bludgeoned to death with an axe, a crime so violent it shocked the nation. The crime sent shockwaves through the community, and the house has been shrouded in an eerie silence ever since. Neighbors whispered about the tragedy, and the town was never quite the same. The once lively home became a symbol of fear and sorrow.
Those brave enough to step inside the Villisca Axe Murder House speak of a palpable sense of dread, a feeling that something is deeply, terribly wrong. Visitors report hearing footsteps, whispers, and even seeing shadowy figures moving through the rooms.
It's as if the walls themselves are crying out, desperate to share the horrifying truth of what happened that fateful night. The peeling wallpaper and creaky floors seem to echo the pain and fear of the victims, creating an atmosphere that is both haunting and sorrowful. The Villisca Axe murder house remains a chilling testament to a night of unimaginable horror, a place where the echoes of a gruesome crime still linger, waiting to be heard. From haunted hotels and twisted mansions to the darkest prison cells, America's haunted history is filled with places where the past never really lets go. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, these places will leave you questioning what truly lies beyond. Are these stories just legends, tales meant to frighten us around a campfire? Or is there something more, something unexplainable that science can't dismiss? The truth, as always, is out there.